the ladies. I got to give my ladies first props on here, so we're gonna care with the ladies. But first up, before we jump into it, the big news of the day: Nate Smith Award winner Caitlin Clark named Player of the Year, ladies and gentlemen. As you can see, this is CBSSports.com. Iowa star Caitlin Clark was named the 2023 Naismith Player of the Year on Wednesday, recognizing her as the most outstanding player in women's basketball. And she has been awesome. Caitlin Clark has, and what Caitlin Clark has done in this tournament is amazing. She deserved it. It's been remarkable. Clark has been far and away the most statistically dominant player in the women's college basketball this season. As she is the only player to average more than 20 points. She's at 20.7. She's at 27.3 points a game, 8.6 assists per game, and 7.3 rebounds per game. Not to mention she recorded the first ever 40 triple double. And I'm gonna get to that when I get to my recap. But congratulations, Caitlin Clark. You have earned your due as the Player of the Year in the women's game. Now we have that out the way. Let's move on to our next thing. Nearly 80 players declared for the WNBA draft with more to come. As you see, you get a list of the key names that you see on here. You see the Lady Volunteers guard, Jordan Huster has entered. Iowa Cyclone center Stephanie Sawyer has declared for the WNBA draft. Haley Jones for Stanford is in there. Grace Baker from Indiana. Ashley Jones, the Cyclones. Yeah, Leah Brown entering. Maddie Sirchris from Villanova, the outstanding big girl for the Wildcats. She has declared for the WNBA draft. And you have more to come. You still got Caitlin Clark get to choose. You still have Aliyah Boston coming in. You still have other key players from that's in the Final Four yet to decide if they jumping in or not. So, like they said, nearly 80 players declared for the WNBA draft. Way more to come, and they ain't lying. There is more ladies that will be able to determine if they want to go to the WNBA or not. And it's gonna get crazy. This might be the most anticipated WNBA draft that I have probably ever witnessed. Now let's get to the recap of the NCAA tournament, shall we? We're starting off in the 6-16, the fresh your memory as we travel back and get us back to the present. Miami pulled off the upset of knocking out Villanova in a 9-4 matchup to get to the Elite Eight. LSU took down Utah to get to the Elite Eight. Iowa continued to roll behind Caitlin Clark to get to the Elite Eight. And Louisville had no business against Ole Miss to get to the Elite Eight. That was Friday's game. Saturday's game, where you got to see Maryland put a beating on Indiana. South Carolina showing their dominance over UCLA. Ohio State, the surprise upset of the Sweet 16, taking out UConn with that press defense, and Virginia Tech slowing down the Volunteers and taking them out. That was the Sweet 16, the Elite Eight, ladies and gentlemen. LSU started off slow, but in the second half, put their dominance to show and dominated the second half, getting a 54-42 win over the Miami Hurricanes to win the Greenville Region 2 region. It was just one of those games. You saw Louisville. You got to see Louisville going against Iowa in a 2-5 matchup for the Seattle 4th region. Those games took place on Sunday. You saw Caitlin Clark, Haley Van Lith go at each other, but it was Caitlin Clark. The 40-point triple-double was taking place in this game. It came against Louisville, which is a stunner one. Let me get you the actual numbers so you actually know that. So you know the actual numbers. So if anybody asks you, you can give them the actual numbers that took place on Sunday. Let's see here. I know she had, I think it was like 41-42, 41 points. So we talking 41 points, 10 rebounds, 12 assists. What a stat line. And she was 11 of 19 from the field, 8 from 14 from 3. Not only she had a 40-point triple-double, she was efficient with it as well. Haley Van Lith led the way for the Cardinals with 27 points. But Caitlin Carter in Iowa was just too much. That was Sunday. Monday's matchup, you saw South Carolina and Maryland go at it. Maryland came out strong. They came out strong. They put South Carolina in a bond in the first half. But if you've been watching Don Staley in the South Carolina game, because you know the second half is where they do their damage. And that's what they did. The second half, they did their damage. Sion cook the Terps. I mean, she cooked them. She cooked them for, let me get you the numbers here. Zion cooked them for 18 points and 8 boards. Aliyah Boston 22 points, 10 boards, 5 assists. Bill also gave you 16, 7, and 6. So second half was South Carolina's and nothing can do. Diamond Miller played well, 24 points with 5 boards. Can't be mad at that. It's just South Carolina's too much, and they are 42-0 going into the Final Four. 42-0, and then the final game to recap the Elite Eight to set up the Final Four. Virginia Tech came out in a hard-fought matchup with Ohio State. This game, you didn't know what kind of game you was going to get between these two, because you know that press that LSU applied to UConn was troubling for UConn. You want to see how Virginia Tech handled it. And I mean, Ohio State came out fighting, but it was that fourth quarter. It was, matter of fact, I'll give you the second half. The second half, Virginia Tech outscored Ohio State 36-29. 36-29. And that's how the Hokies make their first ever Final Four and win it by 10. Elizabeth Cayley led the way with 25 points and 12 boards. Georgia Amoore, 24 points. I mean, these two ladies have been balling all season, and they proved it on a big stage to win the Seattle Region 3 to get the Dallas for the Final Four. It is crazy how that happened. Very, very good to see. But as we stand right now for our Shooting Lights Out Tournament Challenge, I am currently in second place right now, right behind Mr. Johnny Weaselblade. He has a very good chance of winning the $100 from me. He has me by 130 points, and we both picked South Carolina to win it all. The problem is for me, I didn't have Virginia Tech in my Final Four, but I did have LSU, and I did have Iowa along with South Carolina. But I had UConn in the championship game with South Carolina, and we know that's not going to happen. It's not over. Anything can happen, but we shall see. And anything can happen. But I did have LSU on the other side, so we shall see. Daniels, who's down there at the fourth spot, he has a shot. He still has an outside shot at the $100 as well. But I'm trying to hold on as much as I can. But we shall see, because it's not going to be easy whatsoever. Okay? But nonetheless, the Final Four is set. So let's take a quick break right here. And when we come back, we're going to dive into the women's Final Four. The Playmakerz blog is proudly to announce that it is sponsored by Fanatics. Fanatics, where you can get all your official licensed sports gear, memorabilia, whether it's for the National Football League, the National Basketball Association, Major League Baseball, National Hockey League, or even International Soccer League, or even college sports. So rep your team, rep the hardware, get comfortable, because Fanatics is the way to go. Where sports fans shop, and official license everything. Yeah, ladies and gentlemen, yeah, fanatics. Get your gear on the best deal that you can find on fanatics.com. And then I'm just to let you know how good these too. Let's see what Fanatics got going on today. All right, free US shipping on orders over $24 using the code 24SHIP. That is 24 SHIP on orders over $24. Free US shipping. All right, now we back on Street Lights Out. We got to get into the Final Four, which is in Dallas, Texas. And here's your esteemed elite Final Four. You have the number one team in all of the land in the South Carolina Gamecocks, the reigning defending national champions, led by Don Staley, Zion Cook, and of course, Aliyah Boston. On the other side, the other number one seed, the Virginia Tech Hokies, making their first ever Final Four appearance. And also coming off winning their first ever ACC tournament championship as well. Georgia Amoore is leading the way along with Elizabeth Cayley. These girls know how to put up points in bunches, so let's see how they roll. Coming in as the second seed from the Seattle 4 region is the Iowa Hawkeyes, led by Nate Smith, National Player of the Year, Caitlin Clark. The team of Iowa who like to score just as much as Virginia Tech does, but we should see how they fare against their Final Four opponent. And lastly, it is the Tiger of LSU, led by the Bayou Barbie of Angel Reese. You gotta know that Kim Markley is doing a phenomenal job coaching the Lady Tigers when she left the Lady Bears for LSU. And it's gonna be interesting to see. But these are your Final Four teams: South Carolina, Virginia Tech, Iowa, and LSU. Like I said, this is the beginning of a crazy sports weekend starting tomorrow with the ladies' Final Four. And with the ladies' Final Four, we're gonna kick it off with LSU versus Virginia Tech. This game, ladies and gentlemen, will get started at 7 p.m. on the family of networks of ESPN, ESPN, and ESPN Plus. You have the LSU Tigers coming in at 32-2 on the season against Virginia Tech at 31-4 on the season. LSU is a 2-point favorite, but here is the matchup. LSU likes to defend. LSU is a defensive team from the SEC. They like to hold you down. They like to make things tough for you. And if I'm looking at the numbers correctly, let me see. LSU was third in rebounding at 42.7 rebounds a game. Their defense is up there is in the top 10 in scoring. So you have to be ready if you're Georgia Amoore, Elizabeth Cayley, and the Virginia Tech Hokies, because LSU, they can play them down and dirty. They only give up 57.7 points per game. That is crazy in a women's game. But you have one of the top offenses in the game in Virginia Tech who can score. They like to score. So if I was to look at Virginia Tech's numbers and how much they score, could they put up points? I mean, not as much as I was the number one scoring team in the country at 87.5, but I'll get to that for that next matchup. But Virginia Tech shouldn't be far off. It's going to be interesting to see because if you look at their last games, so if you look at it, let's look at the journey of Virginia Tech, speaking of offense. So they scored 75 points to win the ACC tournament over Louisville, 75-67. They only scored 58 against Chattanooga in their first round matchup, but they jumped back and got back into the 70s, dropping 72 against South Dakota State in the second round, 73 against Tennessee in the Sweet 16, and 84 against Ohio State. The same Ohio State team that held UConn down. They dropped 84 on them. They like to score in the 70s and 80s if you're Virginia Tech. Let's look at LSU. Let's look at LSU. Okay. LSU gave up 50 to Hawaii in the first round matchup, 42 to Michigan. We talking about a good Michigan team at that. They held them to 42. Held Utah to 63. They beat Miami. They held Miami to 42 to get to this game. So it seems to me 60 is the number for Virginia Tech, which they can obviously do. Matter of fact, 60 is pretty much the number for both teams right now. Because Tennessee is not a real big scoring team. I mean, they hit 83 in quarterfinals against Georgia in the SEC tournament, but mostly they don't really like to put up that type of point. They want to hold you down and beat you down. They want to be physical. They want you to feel them and drain you and take bad shots and not get you and not get offense and not get second chances, which is what they do. And Angel Reese is a double machine this year. Last year was Aliyah Boston. This year it is Angel Reese. She the Bayou Barbie. Okay. She is the catalyst, the leader of the LSU Tigers. But you're going against a feisty Georgia Amoore from the Virginia Tech Hokies who will find a way to get her shots up and find teammates to get shots up. So this is going to be interesting to see. Right now, Vegas has the Tigers from the Bayou as a 2-point favorite down at American Airlines Arena for tomorrow's game. We shall see how it goes. So will it be LSU or Virginia Tech punching their ticket to the national championship game? And after that game is the game that I like to call the game that will be the most watched game of the entire Final Four, that Coop Man and women. Because after Virginia Tech and LSU get done, it is the matchup that we all been wanting to see. The Iowa Hawkeyes, led by the Naismith Player of the Year and Caitlin Clark, going against the reigning, defending, undisputed national champions, the South Carolina Gamecocks, who have won 42 games in a row. But the return of Aliyah Boston, Zion Cook has been balling. Don State is still at the helm. The matchup of the superstars is here, ladies and gentlemen. And it's for a berth in the national championship. This is not for the national championship game. This is for a berth in the national championship game. We can go to the numbers again. Like I said, Iowa is the top scoring team in the land. 87.5 points per game they put up. LSU is third at 84 points. So I was actually wrong. They do. LSU can put up points, so they can go up in the 80s if they want to. But back to Iowa and South Carolina. Iowa's the number one field goal percentage team. They shoot 51% per game. But guess who has the number one point differential? South Carolina. Their point differential is 30.3 a game. They just don't beat you. They beat you down. Okay, points allowed. South Carolina's fourth on the list at 51. They give up 51 a game. They are second in rebounding at 49.5 rebounds a game, right above LSU. Blocks per game. South Carolina, number one at 9 a game. It is legit offense versus defense here. Well, it's Carter Franklin because you got two SEC teams and both of them like to play defense. And you're going against a Big Ten team who has the Naismith Player of the Year, who likes to score and leads the top scoring offense in the game. And then you have Virginia Tech on the ACC, who just like scoring as much. So my thing is this: who will win today, offense or defense? Because guess what? Ever since LSU took a taste of what it's like to go against South Carolina, they had to learn there's levels to this. They have been unbeaten. They have been unstoppable. They have been unstoppable. Matter of fact, let me show you what South Carolina did to LSU. Okay, because LSU was rolling. I mean, they were rolling. They played South Carolina. When did y'all play South Carolina? Y'all played South Carolina in y'all played South Carolina in a battle of unbeatens. This was back on February 12th. Columbia, South Carolina. South Carolina was 24-0, and LSU was 23-0. And what Angel Reese and LSU found out, there's levels to greatness. They found out from the opening tap. And they found themselves down 9 before you knew it, down 10 at halftime, and you could never get back. Let me tell you, I just told you, LSU is ranked in the top 10 in points because I had to correct myself. LSU only scored 15 points in the first quarter, 17 points in the second quarter, and 16 in both the third and the fourth quarter. They could not stop South Carolina, who dropped 88 on them to their 64. And Aliyah Boston wasn't even the leading scorer for the South Carolina game. Aliyah Boston gave you 14 and 9. Zion Cook gave you 17. Cardozo came off the bench and dropped 18 and 13. It's already bad that we got to deal with Aliyah Boston. Then if Zion Cook gets started, that's a problem. And if Bill give you anything, that's a problem. You got Cardozo coming off the bench that's going to give you something. You got Cooper that can come off the bench and hoop. You got Watkins that can come off the bench and play. Don Sutter can go 9 deep if she really want to and wear Iowa out. But we all know we talking about the Iowa Hawkeyes and Caitlin Clodden, Player of the Year. Who's going to do whatever she needs to do to get her team to win? So you know it's going to start with Caitlin Clark. But let's not forget Miss Warnock. Let's not forget Miss Sinano, who actually fouled out against Louisville and only played 26 minutes. That could happen again because we're going against Louisville Boston and that duo of South Carolina bigs. Okay, Marshall, who is a sniper from 3, Mark can do some good things. But if I was going to hang around, they're going to need help on their bench. Because South Carolina can go 9 deep and all 9 can hoop. And I don't mean hoop as in, because they play better. When I say hoop, all 9 can hoop. Zion Cook can get it started when she wants to. You know what you're going to get from Aliyah Boston. Kurt also comes in. She just another Aliyah Boston. That's why Vegas right now, which is like the game we all been waiting for, and Vegas don't even have it close. Vegas got South Carolina winning by 11.5. This is the game of the year for both men and the women, and Vegas is like, yeah, we got South Carolina by double digits. This is how deep and talented South Carolina is. And Vegas is sitting here saying, the day before it goes down, Vegas said 11.5 South Carolina. Now, are they trolling us to make you say, hey, wait a minute, y'all disrespecting Louisville, y'all disrespecting Iowa? You know, Kate and Clyde, they're going to do their thing. They're going to be in this game. Or Vegas is telling you, y'all not paying attention to South Carolina as much as y'all should have. Point differential is 30.3. I don't know what to tell you, but at this point, it's going to be something. And trust me when I tell you, this will be the most watched Final Four game this year. I ain't even get to the manager, and I don't even care. This game right here is going to be the most watched Final Four game. Okay? And it actually kind of works out perfectly because even though it's WrestleMania week for my wrestling fans, when they get started, SmackDown will be halfway done. So, all eyes gonna be on this game for the second half. Oh, once SmackDown goes off at 10 o'clock Friday night, people gonna turn to ESPN to catch the second half of Iowa and South Carolina to see what the hell's going on, and if Clayton Clark can beat David and slay Goliath, which is the South Carolina Gamecocks. Just letting you know. I'm just letting you know. But this is it. This is your time frame right here. American Airlines Arena in Dallas, Texas, where the Dallas Mavericks play at. Your first game is LSU Virginia Tech, and after that is the show of all shows, the matchup of the year. Iowa and South Carolina afterwards. So get ready, because it's going down. We're gonna take a break. And then when we come back, we're gonna flip over to